Have you ever asked and not received? Have you prayed, begged, pleaded with the heavens, hoping the winds of fate would finally blow favor in your direction, and yet nothing? Have you fasted, hoping piety would be the price for your miracle? Have you visualized until your eyes burned with the strain of the inner image, affirmed until your voice went hoarse, and still found yourself standing in the same empty room, holding the same empty hands, lacking the very thing you so desperately desire? Let me tell you the truth, the one you were never told in the churches, never taught in the schools, never whispered by the world that profits from your sense of powerlessness. It was never the world that denied you. It was never some external capricious God holding back your good. It was never destiny or fate testing your faith or demanding you suffer just a little longer. It was only this: you did not know the laws. And without law, even the purest desire, even the most righteous prayer is powerless. It is a seed thrown upon concrete. This is not punishment. This is not cosmic abandonment. It is quite simply ignorance. And ignorance, though innocent, still carries the consequence of its own emptiness. The law is no respecter of persons. It does not care if you are desperate or devout, if you are a sinner or a saint. It only and always obeys the state of consciousness you inhabit, the thought you persist in, the feeling you dare to call real. You were denied not because you were unworthy, but because you spoke to the grand mirror of life from a place of absence. And the mirror must only echo what it received. You pleaded for wealth from a consciousness of poverty. You begged for love from a feeling of loneliness. You prayed for health while being utterly convinced of your sickness. And the mirror, in its flawless impersonal perfection, showed you the very face you were making. It gave you more of what you were, not what you wanted. I did not come to give you a new religion. Religion has too often been the business of teaching you to beg properly. I did not come to offer comfort to the man content with waiting for a reward in some afterlife. I came to awaken the God within you. I came to tell you that your thoughts are not idle, your words are not empty, and your imagination is not a childish fiction. They are divine creative instruments, and like all instruments, they follow law. There are 4 laws, 4 foundational pillars that govern the manifestation of all things in this visible world. Master them, and nothing will be denied to you. Yes, I said nothing. Not because you will suddenly become lucky, not because you are chosen in some exclusive sense, but because you will have finally aligned yourself with the creative principle of the universe. You are God in expression. You are the operant power clothed in flesh. You are the voice behind the veil, the word made manifest, the infinite awareness dreaming itself into this limitation only to have the joy of remembering its own dominion. And so I say again, you were denied not because heaven closed its gates. This is not a performance. It is not fantasy. It is the creative act of becoming. And if you can hold that scene with clarity for just 17 seconds, you will have planted the seed. And if you can do it again and again, if you can return to that state of consciousness with love and joy and certainty, the seed will grow. It must, because the soil of the subconscious is always fertile. It grows whatever you plant without judgment. You plant a fear and it grows. You plant a joy and it grows. The choice is yours. The responsibility is yours. And most beautifully, the power is also yours. You are not meant to chase, you are meant to embody. You are not here to struggle against reality, but to realize that reality is the servant of your inner world. You are not a victim. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are the one who speaks light into form. You are the one who says, "Let there be," and watches the world obey. When you feel from the wish fulfilled, do not concern yourself with how it will happen. The how is not yours to carry. It belongs to the deeper intelligence of creation, the divine pattern. Maker, the unseen orchestration that governs all things. Your role is simple: to decide what you desire, to assume it with feeling, and to live inwardly as though it were already done. That is the beginning and the end of your part in this great mystery. There will be moments when appearances seem to contradict your assumption. Let them pass. Do not react. Do not flinch. Do not step out of your inner knowing. Remain faithful to your unseen reality, because what you see with your physical eyes is but a shadow, a lagging echo. The true cause is within. And when you remain loyal to the cause, your feeling, your assumption, the echo must change. The outer must yield. This is law. Doubt will come. Let it pass. Fear will whisper. Let it pass. You need not argue with it. You need not fight it. Simply return to the feeling. Return to the state. Return to the inner scene where it is done. Make it so vivid, so real, so full that the outer world begins to blur in comparison. When your imagination becomes more real to you than what your senses report, you are near the threshold of manifestation. The veil is thin there. The promise is near. You are always manifesting. The only question is, what are you manifesting? Are you doing it deliberately or unconsciously? Are you assuming the best or fearing the worst? Are you walking in the feeling of joy, abundance, love, peace? Or are you clothed in lack and waiting for proof? There is no waiting in this work. There is only becoming, and the becoming begins within. 17 seconds is the opening. It is the ignition. But it is not about counting time. It is about immersing yourself so completely in the reality you desire that everything within you says, "Yes, this is me now." And when that yes echoes through your body, through your breath, through your imagination, you will have done it. Not because the world will instantly reflect it, but because the seed is planted and nothing can stop its harvest. Remain gentle with yourself. Do not turn this into striving. Let it be sacred. Let it be joyful. Let it be light. You were never meant to battle for your dreams. You were only meant to accept them, to receive them, to know they are already yours. Walk like it, speak like it, sleep like it, dream like it. Your inner world is your only true reality, and from it all things flow. There is no power outside you that can deny you what you have claimed within. There is no circumstance stronger than your assumption. There is no delay that can stand against persistent inner knowing. Everything must bend. Everything must yield. The laws are set. The current of life flows in the direction of your sustained attention. Where your feeling goes, your life goes. So enter the state often. Live there. Feast there, make it your home. Speak from it even when no one understands. Know it even when appearances mock it, and the day will come quietly or suddenly when the world catches up, and all will call you lucky, blessed, chosen. But you will know it was never chance, it was never luck, it was law, it was assumption. It was you holding your inner ground until the outer surrendered. You are the artist and the canvas, the dreamer and the dream, the speaker and the echo. Nothing is withheld from you except what you withhold from yourself. And all that is yours by divine right is already waiting within you, ready to be claimed. Not with effort, but with feeling, not with striving, but with stillness, not with doubt, but with the quiet, steady knowing that says, I am it now. So go again, close your eyes, step into the vision. 17 seconds of truth, 17 seconds of light, 17 seconds of becoming, and watch what the world becomes in return. It does not matter what the world has told you. It does not matter how long it has been or what has failed before or how impossible it may seem. In the eternal present of your imagination, none of that holds weight. Time as you know it is a servant of consciousness. What the world calls the future is already complete within the eternal now, waiting only for your alignment. 17 seconds of undivided attention to the feeling of the wish fulfilled opens the gate between possibility and reality. Feel it now, not in theory, not as a game, but as truth. What would you feel if the thing you desire were already yours? What would change in your posture, in your breath, in your speech? In your silence? That feeling is not just a preview. It is the creative act itself. The world will not respond to your words unless they are saturated with belief. But even if no word is spoken aloud, if the feeling is deep enough, the echo will return. This is not about pretending. It is not about fooling yourself. It is about shifting your identity. You become what you assume yourself to be. You cannot manifest what you do not inwardly believe is yours. This is why the inner world must be tended to with care. You cannot afford to casually dwell in lack and then expect abundance to surprise you. You must nourish your imagination with that which reflects your highest vision. You must walk with it, feed it, honor it until the line between inner and outer dissolves. Do not say, I will have or I wish I could, for these are words that confess separation. Speak only from the center of it. I am. I have. It is done. These are the tones of creation. These are the sounds of a soul in alignment. And when your inner language harmonizes with the thing you desire, life itself moves to match your song. Events rearrange, people shift, circumstances bend. Not because you fought to make it so, but because you assumed it was already true. The only obstacle is the mind that doubts, but even that, when brought under the authority of your vision, becomes a servant of the dream. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that chooses which thoughts to entertain, which feelings to dwell in. Let the old stories fade. Let the former identity crumble. You do not owe allegiance to limitation, to failure, to wounds of the past. In this moment, you can choose again. And that choice, when felt deeply enough, reshapes your destiny. What you feel in imagination becomes your prayer. Not the begging kind, but the divine kind. The prayer of knowing, of claiming, of standing tall in the unseen as though it were already seen. And that kind of prayer is always answered, for it is the very substance of creation. All things come from consciousness. And your consciousness, when fused with feeling, is the birthplace of all miracles. You do not need to earn what is already yours. You need only to assume its reality. An assumption, when sustained, becomes fact. There is no need to convince anyone else. You are not here to persuade the world. You are here to embody the truth you have chosen. The world will catch up in time. The outer always follows the inner. It is law, and the law plays no favorites. It simply reflects what you persistently believe. You can rise each morning and choose your state. You can enter your day not as a reactor, but as a creator before the world speaks to you. You can speak to yourself from the end. And if throughout the day you return again and again to the feeling of the fulfilled desire, you are doing the holy work of creation, not with strain, not with effort, but with devotion. Let the feelings of already having your desire become natural. Let them become familiar, comfortable, normal. This is the secret. Normalizing the extraordinary. What seems far away becomes near the moment you decide to no longer be a stranger to it. When love feels like home, it will find you. When abundance is no longer foreign, it will arrive. When peace is your dwelling place, chaos has no entry. Every desire you hold is a promise already made. You would not want it unless you already had the means to embody it within. The desire is not a torment. It is an invitation. It is the voice of your higher self calling you to remember what is already yours. Do not argue with the call. Do not delay. Step into the assumption of the answered prayer now, and all things will rise to meet you. There is no difference between the spiritual and the practical in this work. Imagination is not an escape. It is the foundation. From the unseen springs the seen. From the silence the song. From the invisible root the visible tree. You are not bypassing reality. You are forming it. And the mold is your inner state. Change that and the world must change. What you repeat inwardly becomes your outer rhythm. So if you find yourself rehearsing old fears, shift. If your thoughts wander into lack, call them back. Gently, lovingly return again to the state. Enter the vision again. Walk again in the scene. And do not be discouraged if it feels awkward at first. This is the undoing of a lifetime of unconscious creation. But with each return you gain power. With each repetition the state becomes more natural and eventually it becomes who you are. You do not manifest by waiting. You manifest by becoming. You step into the vibration of what you desire and stay there even when the world tempts you to look away. The test is not whether you can feel it once, but whether you can remain there long enough for the world to reflect it back to you. The furnace of transformation is patience, not passive waiting, but active inner knowing. Do not check for signs. Do not measure progress. That is like digging up the seed to see if it has sprouted. Trust the process. Trust the law. Trust your inner world. The manifestation will arrive not to surprise you, but to affirm what you have already claimed. It will feel like a remembering, like something coming home, because in truth it never left. It was always within you waiting for your recognition. Even when you falter, the power remains. Even when you doubt, the seed is not destroyed. Return again, pick it up again, feel it again. This work is not about perfection, it is about persistence. And every time you choose the vision, every time you lean into the feeling, you are building the bridge of incidents that will carry you to its fulfillment. There is no striving here, only aligning. The more you relax into the knowing, the faster the current carries you. Resistance slows you down. Surrender accelerates. And surrender does not mean giving up. It means letting go of control and trusting the deeper current to guide you. That current is your feeling. That current is your assumption. That current is the echo of your divine identity saying it is done. And when you can say it is done with peace in your heart, with joy in your soul, with certainty in your bones, then all the forces of life move to bring it forth. Not because you begged, not because you forced, but because you became. This is your gift. This is your inheritance. This is the truth beneath all appearances. You are the cause. So take the desire that lives in your heart and hold it in the sacred chamber of your imagination. Feed it with love, water it with faith, speak to it with tenderness, and then release it with joy, knowing it is done. You do not need to hold on to the how. You only need to remain in the feeling. The invisible hand will take care of the rest. All things will align. All things will come. You are the miracle you seek. You are the answer to your own prayer. The world around you is the outpitching of the world within. And in just 17 seconds of focused, unwavering, saturated feeling, you can set in motion a new creation. Stay there long enough and the old will fall away. Stay there often enough and the new will arrive, not with thunder but with grace. Not as a stranger but as a reflection. So close your eyes again, enter the scene again, become it, breathe it, feel it, speak from it, live it. For in those few seconds of holy awareness, you do not merely wish, you create. You must come to know this one thing. Everything begins with you. Not some things, not the small things, all things. There is no outer world separate from your inner conviction. What you carry in your imagination is what you will carry in your life. The world is only the mirror, and the mirror cannot reflect what you refuse to assume. So the work is not to change the reflection. It is to change the face that looks into it. When you say, I am, you summon all of creation. When you declare something about yourself, the universe listens and obeys. I am loved. I am wealthy. I am whole. These are not just affirmations. They are commands. When spoken from the depth of assumption, they rewire your reality. They mold the invisible into form. And the more you say them with feeling, the more the world begins to bow to your truth. There is no limit to what you can bring forth except the limit you place on your own imagination. If you can see it inwardly, you can experience it outwardly. The imagination is not fantasy. It is the first cause, the blueprint, the sacred seed. And when planted in the soil of belief, it must bloom. It does not ask if the world agrees. It does not check for logic. It simply unfolds according to the pattern you have impressed upon it. So take your desire, whatever it may be, and wrap it in the fabric of your senses. If it is love you desire, then in the quiet, feel the warmth of arms around you. Hear the voice that speaks your name with tenderness. Do not watch it as if it were a movie. Be in it. Occupy the space. Dwell in the state. For the state you inhabit determines the life you live. And if it is wealth, do not see numbers on a screen. See yourself as the person who lives abundantly. What do they walk? What do they believe about the world? Let it become natural. Let it become so real that you forget it is imagination. Because when your inner world becomes more convincing than the outer must shift to match it. Do not worry if others cannot see what you see. They do not have to. This is your vision, not theirs. You are not responsible for their understanding. You are responsible for your assumption. You are responsible for the feeling you carry. And when that feeling is unwavering, when it becomes the silent rhythm of your being, the manifestation is inevitable. You are not manifesting things. You are manifesting states, and the things come as a byproduct of the state. So do not fixate on the form, focus on the feeling. If you can maintain the feeling, the form must arrive. It is a law as sure as gravity. But unlike gravity, this law responds to you. It shapes itself around your belief. It takes the shape of your inner vision. You may ask, but what if I cannot feel it clearly? Then return again. Try again. The first time may be faint like a whisper through fog, but keep going. The more you enter the state, the more real it becomes. The more you dwell in it, the more natural it feels. You are reconditioning your consciousness. You are building a new normal. And when it becomes normal to you, it becomes visible to all. Remember, you are not waiting for something to happen. You are aligning with something that already exists. You are not calling it from far away. You are bringing it into view. The supply is infinite. The source is within. And the moment you claim it with feeling, it begins its journey to you. Not with struggle, but with flow. Not with delay, but with certainty. Even in the moments where doubt arises, you can choose again. This is not a path of perfection. It is a path of persistence. Doubt is not fail. It is simply a reminder to return to the state, to recalibrate, to reaffirm your inner truth. The moment you feel yourself drifting, pause, breathe, step back into the vision. It is always there waiting. You can never truly lose it. You can only momentarily forget. The greatest power you possess is the ability to feel a thing as real before it is seen. This is the sacred gift. This is the creative faculty that turns dream into destiny. It is not about how hard you work. It is about how clearly you see. And what you see with feeling becomes your reality. Do not measure by appearances. They're always late. What you see is the past. What you feel is the present, and only the present has power. So stay faithful to the feeling. Even when the world seems unchanged, the change is already underway. You have moved the root, and though the fruit has not appeared, the tree is growing. Invisible perhaps, but inevitable. You may feel the urge to check if it's working. Resist that urge. You don't dig up seeds to see if they're sprouting. You water them. You trust. You wait. And when the time is right, the bloom arrives. Your role is not to control the outcome. It is to remain loyal to the vision. This is your sacred act. This is the divine responsibility of the conscious creator, to hold the vision, to assume the feeling, to trust the process, to persist in the unseen, knowing that the seen is merely a shadow that must follow, and let every thought, every word, every breath become aligned with the assumption. Speak as if it were already true. Walk as if it were already done. Let your energy match the outcome, and the outcome will match your energy. There are no exceptions to this law. There is only practice or neglect. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And when it becomes second nature, the world begins to reflect it with such accuracy. You will forget that it was ever otherwise. You are not alone in this. You are never unsupported. The whole universe conspires with the one who assumes rightly. It bends, it moves, it stretches to fulfill the inner decree. This is the great mystery, that your world is nothing more than the echo of your own belief. If you are met with challenge, see it not as opposition, but confirmation. The old must shake as the new is born. The world rearranges itself to accommodate your new state. And sometimes that rearrangement looks like chaos. But do not fear it. It is only clearing space. Stay in the vision. Stay in the peace of knowing. Let the storm pass, and you will see the shape of your desire forming in the clearing skies. You need not convince the world. You need not explain your process. Your results will speak louder than your words ever could. The one who manifests with ease does not brag. They radiate, they walk with quiet confidence, because they know that the world is their servant, not their master. 17 seconds. That's all it takes to ignite the fire, to begin the. But because you remained unconscious of the laws that open every gate, every vault, every opportunity, every heart. These laws are not hidden from you by some jealous god, they are hidden in you. Buried not by malice, but by the thundering noise of the world. Buried by the training of your senses, which scream at you from birth that reality is out there, and you are its helpless victim. No, my dear friend, you are its author. You are its dreamer. And the moment you remember this, not intellectually as a passing fancy, not casually as a nice idea, but as a living, breathing, visceral knowing, you will find the world softens beneath your voice. You will speak, and it will obey. You will imagine, and it will solidify. You will declare, and it will become. But before I give you the first law, I must pierce the final, thickest veil of your resistance. It is the belief that your past defines you. It is the altar upon which you worship your old failures. Listen to me now, your past has no authority unless you renew it with your attention today. Your mistakes have no voice unless you echo them in your imagination now. Your disappointments have no shape unless you resurrect them in thought this very moment. You are not what you have lacked. You are not what you have lost. You are not the person who failed last year. You are only and eternally what you now assume to be true. An assumption is the master key that unlocks all four laws. Each of them bends to the consciousness that dares to say it is already done. So forget the years you have wasted. Forget the disappointments that carved lines into your heart. Forget the time you spent praying from a place of emptiness like a beggar at a feast. Today, we begin anew, not by trying harder, not by struggling and striving, but by aligning. This is not about effort. Effort is the currency of the man who believes he is separate from his good. This is about assumption. It is not about trying. It is about knowing. You are not here to ask. You are here to remember. And what you remember, you reclaim. So I say prepare yourself, not with a notebook, not with a strategy, but with stillness, with reverence, with a heart that is finally ready to stop fighting and start receiving. For what I am about to reveal to you is not mine. It is yours. It always has been. And once you see it, once you truly practice it, not casually, but with the same ferocious devotion you once gave to your worry, you will discover that nothing, and I mean nothing, will be denied to you ever again. Now we begin. Let me show you the first thought law. Before anything appeared, before the stars flung themselves into the black velvet of space and the oceans rolled upon the deep, there was one truth, one name, one presence. I am. Not I will be, not I was, not I hope to be, but I am timeless, immediate, unquestioned, uncreated. That name, spoken in the silence of your soul or shouted in the ecstasy of discovery, is the root of all that you see and the source of all you will ever have. I am is not a phrase. It is not a mere affirmation. It is the doorway to divine power. It is God's name, and it is in man's mouth. It is your very consciousness. And whatever you place after those words, be it rich, healed, love, or free, will carve itself into the clay of your reality with perfect, unwavering fidelity. You have been taught by a world that knows not this law to say, I am tired, I am broke, I am struggling, I am sick, I am unlucky. You have said things as though they were mere observations of an objective reality. But they are not. They are decrees. They are commandments issued from the very throne of your own consciousness. And the universe, which is the perfect, impersonal servant of your inner word, goes forth immediately to make it so. It bows and says, Thy will be done. You must, from this day forward, never again take the name of the Lord your God in vain. This was never a warning against profanity. It was a cosmic warning against identifying yourself with anything less than the perfection you desire. You take the name vain, you use it for no purpose, for emptiness. Every time you say, I am, to something you do not wish to be, you are not punished by some wrathful God above for this. You are punished with it by the unconscious use of an infinite creative power. Every time you say, I am, you are using the same name, the same power that Moses heard from the burning bush. The name that split the sea, the name that tore down walls, the name that raised the dead. That identical power, that unconditioned awareness is in you now, waiting to be spoken with intention, with clarity, with faith. This is the first law. You become what you say you are, not what you want, not what you beg for, but what you claim as your identity now. You do not manifest things. You manifest states of being, and those states in turn create the things. You do not manifest wealth. You claim, I am wealthy, and that state of being then clothes itself in the symbols of wealth. Say, I am abundance, and watch how the world, which is only yourself pushed out, arranges itself to reflect your royalty. Say, I am unloved, and life, the mirror, will show you back a world of rejection. The law has no preference. It is exact, it is just. It is mechanical in its obedience and divine in its origin. So guard your words. Guard your I am as you would guard the Holy of Holies. Speak only what you desire to be. Not someday, not hopefully. Now, for I am is always now. It does not know tomorrow. It does not wait. It does not delay. It does not negotiate. It is. When I first discovered this, I did not believe it. It seemed too simple, too immediate, too good to be true. And so I tested it not with great things, not with kingdoms, but with small assumptions. I assumed I am meeting with a friend I have not seen in years, and he appeared. I assumed I am receiving an unexpected letter, and it arrived. I assumed I am walking in a feeling of wealth, and opportunities and funds came from directions I could not have conceived. And as I persisted, the world obeyed. Always, not sometimes, not randomly, always. Because I had finally stopped begging the reflection in the mirror and had instead spoken from the center of power. So now I tell you, if you master this one law, this vigilant, conscious use of your I am, even without the others, your life will be transformed beyond all recognition. But we will not stop here. This is only the first key. This is the foundation. Still ahead is the law of feeling, the law of revision, and the law of living in the end. And when these four laws are united in your heart, nothing will be denied to you, nothing. To know that I am is God is the beginning of wisdom. But to feel it, that is the secret of creation. Thought alone is not enough. Repetition without emotion is a hollow drum. It is the sound of a parrot repeating words it does not understand. It is feeling that gives thought its wings, its breath, its fire. Feeling is the secret. For what you feel to be true, even if the whole world stands and screams that it is false, will become your experience. This law is so absolute, so unwavering, that it makes no exception for your ignorance of it. The world you now see in all its detail is not the result of what you hoped for or begged for or even what you consciously thought. It is the harvest of what you felt to be true. You may say 1,000 times, I am wealthy, I am wealthy. And yet, if beneath those words you feel the cold, hard ache of lack, if you feel the anxiety, the fear, the unworthiness, it is the feeling that is accepted and made manifest. The subconscious mind, the creative one, does not hear the words your lips are forming. It hears the tone behind them. It receives your dominant vibration. It accepts your deepest conviction. The world does not conform to your wishes. It conforms to your assumption. And an assumption is nothing more than the sacred marriage of thought and feeling. So I ask you, what are you feeling right now? Not what are you thinking? Not what are you pretending to feel? But what if you're truly allowing yourself to feel as your natural state? If you say, I am rich, but secretly you fear the bills arriving in the mail, your reality is not being shaped by your words. It is being shaped with perfect precision by that fear. And yet the remedy is not struggle, it is not to fight the fear, it is to surrender. It is the divine art of entering into the feeling of the wish fulfilled and dwelling there, saturating your mind with it until that feeling becomes more real than the fear. You must feel it as though it were already yours, not someday. Now, for you must assume the state as though it were a memory, not a fantasy. A fantasy is something you look at. An assumption is something you look from. It must feel natural, it must feel done. When you lie down to sleep, you do not simply close your eyes and drift into unconsciousness. You have an opportunity, a sacred window, where the conscious, waking mind recedes and the subconscious, creative mind opens to receive instruction. In that twilight state, that drowsy, receptive mood, feel yourself already possessing what you desire. Do not just think about it, feel it. Feel the texture of the experience, the mood of fulfillment. If it is wealth you seek, feel the glorious ease, the freedom, the relief, the generosity that flows from abundance. Feel the bills as paid, the ledger as full. If it is love, feel the warmth, the safety, the utter knowing that you are cherished and adored. Feel the presence. If it is health, feel the vibrancy, the energy, the simple, forgotten joy of a body in perfect harmony. Do not imagine to escape life. Imagine to command it. The inner scene you dwell in, if it is felt, will become the outer scene you walk through. For there is no fiction in feeling. What you feel with intensity, what you accept as true in the deep, becomes fact. This law changed everything for me. Once I discovered it, I no longer wasted time trying to manipulate the outer world. I stopped arguing and reasoning and trying to force things. I turned within. I practiced the feeling. I made the inner state real. And as I remained loyal to that inner mood, life rearranged itself to match it. No effort, no struggle, only alignment. You are not powerless. You are simply unaware of the infinite, creative power you carry in the chalice of your feeling. So I say to you now, do not fear the feeling. Embrace it. Cultivate it. Saturate your inner world with the tones of fulfillment. For as you feel, you create. And when the feeling of the wish fulfilled becomes your natural, dominant dwelling state, manifestation is inevitable. This is law, immutable, precise. And when this law of feeling is joined with the law of I am, it becomes a sword of truth no resistance in this world can stand against. But we are not done. 2 laws remain. And when you have mastered all 4, you will know, not just believe, but know what it means to say nothing will be denied to you. Let me now reveal the 3rd thought law. This is the law that shatters the chains of the past. It is the law that allows you to rewrite your history and, in so doing, claim the future you desire. It is called revision, and it is the key to redeeming all things. You believe your past is fixed, a stone tablet carved by memory and mistake, an unchangeable history that defines who you are today. But I tell you, your past is as fluid as water and as obedient as shadow. It is not a fixed monument, it is a living, breathing story that you are telling yourself right now. The past only seems solid because you have believed in it. You have rehearsed it day after day. You have recited its tragedies and its failures like a dark prophecy you never meant to fulfill. You have given it an authority it does not possess. But the 3rd law of thought, the glorious law of revision, declares that what you remember can be rewritten. And if rewritten with feeling, with the same sensory vividness you give to your painful memories, it will rewrite everything that flows from it. Why is this so? Because the past is not back there, behind you. It lives in your present state of consciousness. It is a pattern in your imagination. And as long as you remain loyal to that old painful story, you are condemned to walk its consequences again and again and again. The man who is betrayed will find new people to betray him, because he is in the state of betrayal. The woman who was rejected will meet new lovers to reject her, because she is in the state of rejection. They are carrying the past with them like a seed, and the world must give them its harvest. But here is the miracle. You are not bound by what happened. You are bound only by what you continue to accept as true. If a man has failed in business, been rejected in love, been betrayed by a friend, he can, in the sacred silence of his own imagination, go back to that scene, not as a helpless victim, but as the creator, the operant power. He can revise it. He can stand in that room once more, but this time he hears the words of acceptance, not rejection. He feels the handshake of partnership, not dismissal. He sees the betrayal turn to loyalty, the failure to resounding favor. And if he does this with intensity, with vividness, with the same sensory conviction he gives to the real memory, he will not only feel differently about the past, he will experience a different future. For the subconscious mind, the creative power of God is not concerned with fact. It is concerned only with impression. What is impressed upon the subconscious is not what actually occurred, but what you now claim occurred. You are in that moment planting a new seed. You are altering the cause. And if the cause is altered, the effect must change. I once knew a woman who suffered for years, trapped in bitterness over a single conversation that had happened decades prior. She had been humiliated, dismissed, and made to feel small and worthless. It became the defining moment in her story, the stone in her heart that poisoned every relationship that followed. It was her secret, dark excuse for every failure. But I instructed her to revise it, not to deny it, not to think positive about it, but to redeem it. She resisted at first, but it happened and she cried. It is the truth. I told her she was loyal to a shadow and it was time to claim the substance. So, nightly, before she slept, she went back into her imagination. She saw the same room, the same people. But this time she rewrote the script. She saw the scene unfold not in shame, but in honor. She heard words of respect, of praise, of deep appreciation. She felt the glow of dignity replace the sting of humiliation. She repeated this inner act night after night, not as a chore, but as a holy ritual, until the new, revised memory felt more real, more natural than the old one. The bitterness in her heart began to dissolve. Within weeks, her entire world shifted. The very person who had humiliated her, a person she had not spoken to in years, contacted her out of the blue with a message of apology and respect. Her relationships with her family and colleagues changed completely, not because they changed, but because she had. She was no longer emitting the vibration of, I am one who was humiliated. She was now radiating, I am one who is honored. Life, the perfect mirror, had no choice but to reflect her new assumption. Do not take this lightly. This is not wishful thinking. This is divine authorship. You are the writer of your life, not its passive reader. The power of revision is the power to resurrect, to rebuild, to rechoose. And it is not limited to the grand, tragic events of your past. You can and you must revise your day before you sleep. If your day went contrary to your desire, do not accept it as a closed and final fact. Do not fall asleep in the state of failure, anger, or disappointment. For if you do, you are planting those very seeds to bloom tomorrow. Instead, in the stillness of your bed, in that drowsy, receptive state, replay the scenes as you wished they had gone. Did you receive criticism? Revise it. Hear the praise you desire. Feel the glow of a job well done. Did you receive a denial? Revise it. Receive the payment, the acceptance, the yes. Did you look in the mirror and flinch in doubt? Revise it. See the face of success, of confidence, of beauty, and smile. This nightly ritual is sacred act of pruning the day, sows new, beautiful seeds for your future. And as surely as the seasons turn, those seeds will bloom. You see, the law does not distinguish between real and imagined. It does not care about past and future. It responds only to your present assumption. And if your new dominant assumption is that the past empowered you, blessed you, and favored you, then the life before you must echo that song. This is how you free yourself. Not by trying to change the people or circumstances around you, but by changing the story within you. And once the story changes, the world must play its part. The actors must shift, the scenes must rewrite themselves, for you have revised the script, and reality is only and always the performance of your internal play. I urge you, try this tonight. Before you sleep, take one scene from your past, or even from your day that still stings, and in the stillness of your room, revise it. Not abstractly, but specifically. Let it be real, detailed, vivid, alive, and repeat it, saturate it with feeling until the new version feels more natural than the old. Then rest in that feeling and watch how quickly the world obeys. You are not at the mercy of memory, you are the redeemer of time. This is the third thought law. And now, having mastered identity through I am, and creation through feeling, and redemption through revision, we come to the final law. The capstone, the law that brings all others to glorious completion. It is the law of living in the end. For unless you live now as though it were already done, nothing can be done. Come, let us enter the end. Let us dwell where the fulfilled desire already is. Let us master the fourth and final law. There is no future in the eyes of God. There is no tomorrow in the consciousness of I am. All things are now. Eternity is not endless time. It is the absence of time. And in this timeless, eternal realm of your own imagination, there is only one place where creative power is real, where manifestation is born. That place is the end. To live in the end means to mentally and emotionally occupy the state of already having, already being, already done. This is not pretending in the way a child pretends, knowing it's not real. This is not hope, which is a confession of absence. This is the divine assumption of fulfillment as present fact. And when you live in that end, when you make that inner state your home, reality must conform to the seed you have planted in your consciousness. Let me speak plainly. If you desire wealth, you must stop thinking of becoming wealthy. That is the thought of the man in the middle, the man who is lacking. You must, in imagination, begin to think from wealth. Think from the end of it. What would your inner dialogue sound like if money were no concern? How would you walk? How would you breathe if abundance flowed like breath through your life? What mood, what feeling would rest upon you if you were already the success the world says you are only becoming? That mood, that inner state, that is the end. And you must dwell in it. You must saturate your mind with it. You must return to it, eat there, sleep there, live there, until it hardens into fact. The law knows no delay. The only delay is your own disbelief. The only delay is your unwillingness, your inability to remain in the end when appearances thunderously contradict it. But understand this, and understand it fully. Appearances are lies, they are not reality. They are echoes of yesterday's assumptions. They are the smoke from fires you no longer need to stoke. They are the old news, the lagging reflection of a state you have already left. Do not serve them with your attention. Do not honor them with your feeling. To react to the present state of lack is to reincarnate it. Withdraw your power from the visible and give it, all of it, to the invisible. See the world not as it is, but as it would be if your desire were fulfilled. And see it often. Walk through your world in imagination as the person you desire to be. Dine there, love there, spend there, be there. Create a life so vivid, so detailed, so real within you that the outer world, no matter how slow it seems to shift, must eventually catch up. It has no choice. When you live in the end, you stop asking, you stop waiting, you stop explaining, you stop trying to make it happen. You begin to feel deep within you, like the one who already has. You speak differently. You walk differently. You radiate something unshakable, a quiet confidence, a peace. The people around you will not know what has changed, but they will feel it. The world responds to your certainty, not your pleading. God does not reward desperation. God responds to alignment. This is the power behind every miracle you have ever read. The leper said, "Lord, if you will, you can make me clean." And Jesus, the man who knew this law, answered, "I will, be thou clean." No delay, no process, no let us try. He lived in the end of the man's perfection. He spoke from it. He was the living embodiment of the fulfilled word, and you, being the image of God, are called to do the same. Do not ask when. Do not ask how. Those are the questions of the man who lives in the middle, the man who is still struggling. The man who lives in the end knows it is already done. He says, "It is finished." And then he rests in that finished work. When the inner movie of the fulfilled desire plays itself in your mind again and again, rich with the emotion of fulfillment, saturated with the belief of, is so, the outer world becomes the stage for its performance. So I ask you now, can you let go of what you see? Can you abandon the facts your senses report? Can you dwell in what you have declared to be true? Can you remain loyal to the unseen reality long enough for it to be seen? That is the test. And that is the fourth law. To live in the end is to walk with God. For God alone calls things that are not seen as though they were, and in doing so makes them so. And when these four laws, I am, feeling, revision, and living in the end, become the natural living rhythm of your inner life, when you speak I am with power, when you feel the wish as fulfilled, when you revise the story that once bound you up, and when you live every hour from the end, you will find that truly nothing is denied to you. The world becomes your echo, your mirror, your obedient servant. You will no longer chase, you will no longer fear. You will assume and you will allow. You will speak and it is done. You will think and it becomes. For you have mastered the laws of thought, and the kingdom of heaven, your own consciousness, responds to those who know who they are. Now, beloved, let me draw together the golden thread that runs through each of these laws and weave them into the seamless robe of divine understanding. For each thought law by itself is potent, yes, but when combined, when you, the operant power, bring them into conscious union, then reality becomes soft clay in your hands. This is the moment of awakening, the moment when you cease to look outside for proof and begin to walk as one who knows, not one who hopes. The first law declared, I am, is the key. This is the foundation. Without a righteous, conscious use of your I am, all else is vanity. You must be vigilant, for the subconscious mind is shaped not by the words you say in your Sunday prayer, but by the words you repeat without noticing in the marketplace. I am so tired. I am so broke. I am always failing. You do not become what you want. You become what you declare yourself to be. And the second law, feeling is the secret, taught you that assumption without emotion is barren. It is a dead seed. You cannot simply say, I am rich, while feeling the cold, familiar ache of lack. You must clothe the phrase in sensation. You must feel it real. You must animate your I am with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Then came the third law, revision. Here you learn that the past is not fixed. The past is alive only as long as you keep it alive in your present memory. But the moment you revise it, the moment you look back with new, loving, creative eyes and say, this happened differently, you rewrite the blueprint of your present. For the subconscious is not linear. It accepts only what is impressed upon it now. You are always creating the present, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And when you dare to rewrite yesterday, you free today. And the fourth law, Living in the end is the crown. It is the fruit of all your inner labors. It is the culmination. To dwell in the end is to live from your desired state, not toward it. And that is where most fall short. They wait for proof, they wait for signs, they wait for external validation. But the one who knows the master dwells already in the feeling of the fulfilled desire and lets the world in its own time catch up. This is true dominion, to act, think, and feel as though the thing is already yours and then let go.